Welcome to the Crossover Podcast with Dave, Dizzy Dave 2413 and 23 Tar Heels 50 and the boys. We have two guests today, Dylan and Chris. And they're going to come and they're going to talk to us all about their League of Legends knowledge. So,
if you didn't know, both of them are challenger players.
Yeah,
it's an undisputed fact. We don't know their OPGGs. You won't know their OPGGs. Therefore, they're challenger, and that's what you have to assume. So all takes that they have, you can flame them on social media for being challenger players.
Actually true.
Bada bing.
Actually
true. You know, I'm a one-trick Lux that has gotten the challenger multiple times.
It's not my fault that Riot balanced things in my favor.
Actually true. And today we're gonna... Well, we're actually not going to talk about that anymore.
Hate the game, not the player.
So to give a preface to what Paul is alluding to, but not alluding to, whether we will be specifically discussing the VCS or not is kind of TBD. Obviously, we have not been discussing it in general because there is no VCS at the moment. But I will have more detail on that likely next week or the week after. When we can discuss things further. But for now, really no change of pace. Just no, it might be a fun / juicy topic in 2 weeks. That's all I can say.
Yep. And so with that, we're going to hop in to the LCS.
And the best team in the freaking world.
Okay. Well, you're tied for first, so...
According to Upcomer, in their power rankings, they have 100 Thieves as the 8th best team in the world.
I mean, how can you lose with the Cash App Compound, baby? The premium trading location. Let's go. They have a basketball court.
I mean, true. And they also happen to have a half-decent bot side of the map with a good mid laner.
True. I mean, when you have a Red Bull dispenser at the front desk, I mean...
Too easy. Mo knows.
Did you see their I forget what the name of the line is, but they just announced a new clothing line today. Is their permanent collection? Like you can always buy their merch now. It's a specific set of clothes that will always be there in addition to
is Valkyrie still with him?
Yes, Valkyrie is still with them.
Yeah, I know she was running up that apartment or the department.
She is actually now a co-owner of 100 Thieves.
Wow.
So she is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon.
That's a poggers.
That is a wide people happy.
It is. Almost as why people happy as the fact that FBI is the best ADC in the LCS.
All right. It's a hot take.
Is it hot? Is it a hot take?
Come on. That's a hot take.
How? Who's better? Who's better? Okay, true.
I mean, Sven did come back this week.
And Sven got his ass
he looked
pounded.
Like trash.
He got his ass absolutely pounded.
What do you think, Dylan?
I'm not gonna comment.
Why? Wait. Who are you a fan of? I forget.
I'm not a fan of really anyone. I watch all LCS games. But me and Paul have a lot in common, so I shifted the TSM way.
Ooh.
Yup.
I'm outnumbered.
I got him with the crypto. Don't worry.
Of course you did.
Wrong podcast. Wrong podcast.
Chris is a TL fan.
I am a TL fan.
How do you feel about Jenkins?
Listen, I'm more of a 2019-2020 TL fan.
All right, Chris, let me ask you this. Is or is not Jenkins the best performing player on Team Liquid right now?
I need you to define performing. Because sometimes there's no performance to be had, let's be honest.
Of the games that they have won, would you say he was the best player of those games? And of the games that they have lost, would you say he was the shining light of those losses?
If you're asking me if his mindset of the day determines if they win or lose, yeah, probably.
I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, it's a team game at the end of the day, and with the way Riot's doing this, this game up, I mean, it could be anyone's fault.
Well, mm. I mean, I will say this: their last game, where against TSM, where Tactical decides to build Lethality Varus
Come
as
on,
the only
that's how
damage
they build
dealer.
it. Well, the only
Well, he was the only damage dealer. They had a Lulu and a Seraphine, and he doesn't go on hit Varus, and then
It
they get
triggered me.
absolutely stomped.
I already get
But
triggered by poke Vars, but that triggered the absolute
it wouldn't
crap
have
out
done
of me.
anything though. It wouldn't have
No.
done anything. That comp was terrible. Like without Jat, did they get better? Huh. Huh?
I feel
I'm
like I don't know. I feel like right now with the way the game is balanced, it's so easy to ban out the broken champs. So it feels like you're always struggling for a variety of attackers in your team comp, and it ends up being like one guy on your team who is just trying their heart out. Like us last night in Clash, you were our only damage, Paul, running Jinx, and it's like, hey,
Mhm.
he died one time in a team fight, lost the game. It
Yep.
feels like a constant struggle. Now, of course, if you don't do pick ban properly, then it's real easy to get that variety in there. But I don't know if you can call it too balanced or not balanced enough.
Yeah.
It's odd because it feels like there's a weird mix between some teams definitely focusing that strategy and others going the complete opposite. I look at a team like EG, for example, and they are still drafting double marksman. And it's like I don't- I honestly think we have gotten past the meta of double marksman at this point. And yet they're still doing it and it's not working fully. At least not to the same efficiency as a team like 100 Thieves drafting, Lee Sin and a bot.
Okay, but let's be fair here. Lee Sin's kind of busted.
He
He's
is.
busted.
But I mean,
Pretty busted.
He is busted.
if you take that out, I mean, just looking at 100 Thieves and TSM's drafts specifically, they've been putting more mages back in the mid lane, which
Mhm.
has
That's
kind of
good.
felt like a change that's needed to happen. The ADCs
I mean,
have been
but-
on damage. Oh, God.
I mean, I personally miss Baker Ribbon mid. So
I mean, true, but they put too much healing in the game for that anymore.
that is true.
Yeah.
Too much shielding. Too
Yep.
much requirement for grievous wounds on every single one of your players.
Yeah.
I will
And
say it is nice,
is
though, that you have grievous
noticeable.
wounds on a lot of other items, though.
That is true.
Yeah, but it's
Oblivion
kind
Ore
of a
makes a big
testament
difference.
to what they've done. I mean, they've made it such a needed item for the whole game that they've had to literally put it so that you can build it in any build path.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that and like, isn't there only one item where it's like anti-shielding?
Yes, Servant's Fang.
Yeah.
It's
but I
an
mean,
AD
Serpent's
item.
Fang is like
It's
pretty good
kind of
item.
nutty.
it's kind of busted.
On Kane, it's kind of disgusting. You literally can just kill anybody.
Any
I mean,
assassin.
yeah,
Pike.
it's true. Pike, it's very good.
It sucks, though,
And
because like it
how-
doesn't fit well into any AD build, with the exception of Poke Vars. Like, there's no scenario where I ever see myself building on somebody like Lucian or I don't know. I'm just trying like any non-on-hit marksman is not going to benefit from building Serpent's Fang versus something with both damage and attack speed.
I agree. I think what Riot was trying to do is allow you to be more flexible in bot lane instead of sticking with the traditional long range fighter. But it also leads to some interesting team comps.
Yep. And that is honestly the issue of, I would say, 8 of the LCS teams, because right now I think only 100 Thieves and TSM can actually draft a team comp. The rest are honestly just kind
TSM
of
FTX?
trolling. True, TSM FTX. But I feel like TSM is getting really good with drafting. 100 Thieves just wins lanes, so it's whatever. They could suck at drafting or not, doesn't matter. They're better. And TL just, I don't know, dude. I don't know what TL's doing, to be honest. They're trying to force Jenkins to be a good player, and he's all right. He's pretty good. I think he's a performer, but I don't think he's going to answer all their questions.
I think Jenkins is like a good weak side carry player, kind of similar to what like Broken Blade was the first split that they used him. They didn't send a lot of jungle pressure top. They would still gank mid and bot, but you could still put BB on a carry and he would do fine. Same thing with Jenkins. The problem is they're still putting a lot of attention top lane. But I feel like just focus mid lane with Jensen. But Jensen's always shit during the regular season, like he is right now. I mean, come playoffs, I think Team Liquid will relatively be fine, especially if they have Alfari in. But
Not really a pressure player.
Do I have to be
I
the
may
one who
say
has
so
to
myself.
say that he did kind of join a team that had already won 2 championships with a handcuff of Ole, and they get rid of Ole, add Core JJ, he joins the team, pulls a Kevin Durant basically, and gets carried through 2 championships.
not denying that, but
Wow.
he also was one of the main reasons why they made it to semis in 2018. Granted, that was
True.
also Sneaky performing out of his mind that entire tournament.
Yep.
Because his
Constant
Lucian
inside.
play was better than anything we saw from the LPL or LCK, which was weird.
Yep.
Great play.
C9 can't make worlds without Sneaky. Kind of cringe.
True.
Kind of cringe.
Imagine not paying someone enough money to be on a world championship level team because he makes more money. Posting cosplay pics, baby.
Oh,
Zinger.
kind of cringe. And then you hire who? A guy who can't even play against Skarner. Huh. Weird.
Oof.
Weird.
Ooh.
He's saving his QSS for next game.
Imagine getting benched for King.
Come on, dude.
That's
They're
They're all
gonna-
trying.
There have been a lot of substitutions this split.
Oh,
Way more
yeah.
than normal. And I don't know if you heard the reports earlier in this week. Reaper gave an interview stating that Kenvi and Tenacity are likely to get LCS time.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Even with 100 Thieves in first, they are likely going to put them in at some point to play.
It seems like nobody's like really trying to build the golden comp. Everyone's just kind of trying to get everyone paid.
Yeah.
To be fair, you
Well-
have a longer regular season, so you can.
That's
I
true.
think a tough
It is good to
part
get people
of
off the bench.
Reaper doing that though is he always does this, and sometimes it works, sometimes it just pisses people off, and we'll see how it goes. But
I think with 100 Thieves, it's interesting though because if they're like, say they beat TSM not this upcoming weekend but the following, and they build themselves a 3-game lead, I would have faith to sub out some of the players and give some of the academy scrims or stage time. But if I'm
Yeah.
closer and I'm someday, and I see Tenacity come in, or Tenacity and Kenvi come in and absolutely still smash, I'd be petrified. I'd say my job is gone next year, regardless of how. Like, even if 100 Thieves wins Worlds, I still think you have a possibility of getting rid of Closer and Someday for Tenacity and Kenvi because they are your future of the organization for 5+ years. I can see Chris's face there.
I know.
No, this is unrelated. Oh,
Oh,
I'm getting
okay.
a text message.
Me?
Oh yeah.
What happened?
Nothing.
Based on
You
that
can
face,
drive on.
something good.
Completely
Okay.
off topic.
Well, whatever. So definitely that situation is like I think it's good because I like Kenvi and Tenacity, and I think it would be fun to watch them. But at the same time, they can, if they get smashed on pretty bad, I think that's tough for 100 Thieves because it's hard to sell them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's no big deal. I think it's worth the risk, and it wouldn't be terrible. And honestly, overall, the substitutions were just. I mean, most of the subs haven't really worked out that much, other than I would say TLs. I mean, TLs are all right to watch, and their bottom lane's finally coming alive.
And Evil Geniuses. Contracts came in and absolutely
Oh, true.
demolished TSM.
And then they won the next day too, though, really hard. So I'm just not sure what to think about that. I think EG's just playing well right now, which is kind of weird to say.
So what you're saying is Jizuke coin flipped heads for 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta coin flip a little bit. Keep things spicy. It keeps the viewers coming back for more.
Other
Yeah.
than the fact that LCS viewership is possibly down, but that's a
Well,
that's a
let's
side.
hop into the topic I really wanted to talk about.
Oh boy.
And this will actually give Dylan some space to talk. So
yes.
the NCAA has said that they're starting to get towards the point where they're willing to pay college players.
So much
Now-
drama with that.
Yes. Now, if we can get that, here's what I want to throw to you guys. Do you think we could see a world where there are colleges paying League of Legends players, or any esport for that matter, where they would pay them to go play for a college for a few years? And do you think it's worth it for the players?
Yeah. So the NCAA paying athletes. So would esports be considered an athlete?
Well, here's the thing. Here's my take on it. The reason why they can not pay their athletes is because they provide a platform to showcase your ability to perform in the position of, say, the NBA, where you're going to be getting paid a lot of money, right? So they provide that platform. You get on their roster, right? You play for them, you prove you're good enough, and then you can go make the big bucks.
Yeah, but the extent is, let's say, I'll use Zion Williamson, for instance. When he was in college, phenomenal player, electric. Best college player I'd seen in a hot minute. Let's say that dude only gets 15 games into the season, or whatever. 12, we'll say 12. Tears his ACL, comes back, goes back to college, tears his ACL again. Is like, I'll go to the NBA, never gets a tryout.
Yep.
That's
Well,
a
see,
problem because he's
that-
not protected.
Okay, it is a problem, right? And they should be getting paid. But I do agree that they should move towards that. But then the NCAA is going to become kind of like the NBA in the fact that you don't have to work really hard to get to the NBA anymore. You're getting paid to be in the NCAA.
Well,
And
yeah,
to be
there's still that
fair,
stipulation of 4 years, though.
Okay.
And I
so
don't
there's
think
stipulation.
injury is really something that you could say for video games.
Yeah. So when it
Not
comes to video
really.
games, right, the NCAA has the ability to move to paying them, right? But it took a long time to get there. Esports is brand new. So if say colleges are providing that platform to people and just starting that out, then we have a long time before they're going to start paying people to come to their college teams to make it to
Yeah.
LCS. I think there's a gigantic staircase to that process, just like with the NCAA. So I don't think they're going to be paying players, but I mean, they already are. They have academy teams that can come and play for colleges. So we're getting to that point, but it's nowhere near NCAA level where they're considering paying these athletes to come in and play for them.
there's two things with this that I think will cause some issues. First is with normal sports, the NCAA doesn't have to check with anybody for football, for soccer, for the rights to use these sports. They're allowed to do whatever they want with them because there's no governing body of football or of soccer. It's just a sport. Whereas with League of Legends, Riot Games could shut down the NCAA's access to their game like that. And just like that, no NCAA sponsored esports. So, and realistically, Riot has already partnered with the RSAA, which is basically like an NCAA type body that's not the NCAA. I don't see a world in which Riot doesn't allow their players to get paid, or at least at a minimum, take in stream revenue and all the additional income sources that currently the NCAA is barring their players to get. It's just tough for me because I don't see college esports as a job in the same way that college football is entirely a job. You watch like even the D3 college players that I became good friends with. They wake up at 5:30 in the morning, go until probably about 10:30 at night, go to bed, wake up and do it all over again. Like that is literally their life for an extended period of time. So yeah, they should be getting paid in the same way that a job pays that because they even like kids who get a full ride scholarship for academics, they still have the opportunity to get a job on the side and make money if they want. College football players literally don't have that time. With esports, there's no collegiate esports team that's going to be practicing the same amount of hours. Therefore, you'll have the possibility of getting a job and or even like streaming to get money on the side that I don't think you have to pay them at all. Not that you can't, but I just don't think you should.
I think you won't see direct payments coming from the league. However, I do believe that the ability for sponsorships to come in and fill that role and sponsor players individually, especially when it comes to gaining revenue through means like streaming, social media, advertisements and stuff, that's where you're going to see esport players really shining, especially at a collegiate level.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, because I don't know how many players are actually gonna go collegiate if they can just go to, well, academy's going away, but if they could go to whatever replaces academy. And I'm kind of wondering if collegiate will be able to replace academy, because something has to. I assume academy can't last forever, especially with LCS viewership allegedly going down, and nobody watches academy anyways, and nobody really cares. So
Yeah, interesting. Here's a spitball. I'm gonna throw this from left field here. We are seeing a rapid decline of people going to college to begin with, especially people in technological fields. Do you guys think there may ever be a means for a middleman to come in and take over things, like, for a collegiate level? Just be like, okay, this is like an underdog to LCS, but you don't have to go and go to college to be on this team. You don't have to do all this extra stuff.
I
And
don't think so, because the amateur teams that are signed by LCS orgs fill that gap. And esports is in the unique position where realistically you should be going pro at 17 or 18 if you can.
So
like that,
what's the
like,
point of going to college for it then?
there is none.
Why?
That's been my problem with college esports the entire
That's
time. Was I
true.
think high school esports is where people should put their focus.
That is
And
true.
getting high school kids to be able to play the game on a consistent and structured basis leading into the LCS, because it's not like football or basketball where there's that 2-year or 3-year, if you're a football, requirement before you hit pro. No, it's if you're good enough, that's it. Like, you can climb in challenger, you can get some coaching and structure on the side, and you can go pro before colleges even know that you exist.
yeah, I mean, you kind of have to go. If you're gonna go pro, you gotta go in college or high school. My bad, for sure, because most people in their 20s aren't really becoming rookies. As sad as it is that that's too old, but there's no.
Arthritis.
I'm just worried more about the amateur scene though, because I don't feel like the NA1 is actually good enough to kind of do its thing. Maybe that Rising, whatever league it is, will work out, but it doesn't seem like it's running as well as it could for now.
I think you'll
So
see the ripple effects of the amateur investment that we've seen over the last year happen in probably about 2 years. Really, because, like, for example, Danny, who's now the starting ADC for Evil Geniuses, he went straight from Prodigies, their like 18 and under youth development team, directly to the LCS, to the point where he's graduating high school mid LCS week. Like, that will cause ripple effects further down the road that we're not going to be able to see now. But 2-3 years from now, when you see a few more of these things pop up, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case.
yeah, well, I would say that's a good way to end that one. And with going into our next topic, I'm gonna say goodbye to Dylan and Chris, because we're gonna talk about LEC, and I know neither of you watches LEC that much. So
The send off.
adios, boys.
Adios, amigos. Thanks
See
for
ya.
coming on.
Yeah, thank
How
you for
about
coming.
Fnatic versus G2? Electric.
Absolutely electric gameplay. All right, well, move to chill, Dave.
With the chill. Got it. Dude, I freaking love them so much.
Oh yes, I moved the camera back on, and yeah, that was really nice having them on to talk about the game. It felt really good. And
It was.
now, trying to keep a smooth transition, the LEC. So, we saw this week, Misfits is still not dead. Kind of insane. Like, actually don't know what to think about them. I'd say we still have 2 more weeks before we have both agreed that they will eventually possibly fall off. And if they can survive that, do you see them making a run all the way?
I'm still torn on it, to be honest. I want to say yes, because I feel like it's good. It's good for the league to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's so hard to just blindly put your faith in a rookie team like this, because it's unproven. in the LEC. We saw it whenever Rogue and Mad Lions originally came out, and they both did well in the regular season, but when it came to playoffs, it was still Fnatic and G2 for about a year before it fully transitioned over.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be the same way. I think Misfits will perform well till the end of the split, and then when playoffs comes, I just think it's going to be more difficult until they prove to me that they can consistently beat top teams. Because the problem with LEC is that you lack the games that the LCS now has. I don't know. What do you like? Do you think they're gonna hold on?
I really like Hear It. I think he's really good, and he's been playing so insane. And I like the rest of their team, and I think they have a really good bottom lane as far as like needing veterans that can hold the team together. That's the bottom lane to have if you want to do it. But I just am not 100% sure if they can keep it forever, especially in playoffs, because we haven't seen them yet in a what would it be, on stage.
Yeah.
And if playoffs are possibly played on stage, I'm not 100% sure if I believe in them. I mean, because then you're getting a lot more intense. But I mean, I don't know who I think beats them, because right now everybody looks so tough. I mean, there's not really a team other than them that I think is that good right now in LEC.
Well,
As odd as that sounds to say.
What's their schedule look like for this next weekend? Will we get a better picture of? So they play Mad Lions, and they play G2. Okay. So realistically, then this has to be the week, right?
Yeah, for them to prove if they're real or not.
Yeah, because Mad Lions is middle of the pack with G2.
Yep.
But beating both of them puts both of them at a 4-4 record.
Yep.
And puts Misfits up to 8-1, which likely will be, I'd imagine, 1 or 2 games above everyone else. Given that Fnatic, who does Fnatic? Fnatic plays SK and Schalke, so Fnatic should have 2 easy wins.
Yeah. Let me phrase it like this, though. If they end up, if they beat, who is it? If they beat Mad Lions, or they beat G2, my bad, and lose to Mad Lions, is it really that good of a week because of the way G2 is playing right now?
No.
Yeah,
no,
I agree.
I would be more comfortable with them beating G2 and losing to Mad Lions.
Yeah.
But
beating G2 and losing Mad Lions. Yeah, because then I think Mad Lions is actually good, and I can live with that.
Yeah.
But if they lose to G2, then I'll be mildly concerned. But it depends which G2 we get, and if they're still picking Olaf by then. Because, I honestly have no idea what Yankos is doing, and I think Mad Lion or Misfits is very skilled, but I don't even know how to say it. But I really do think LEC is playing awful right now. Like, I think they're really behind. Whatever the meta is, they just don't know what they're doing. And Misfits seems to understand what they're doing a little bit, and so they're looking really, really good.
Well, let me ask you this. How much of that do you think is a reflection of the older players finally starting to fall off? Because we haven't had any notable big-name retirements out of the LEC in a long time. Like, granted, players have been poached to the LCS. Like, you lost Abadage, you lost Perks, which are probably 2 of the bigger players. But Perks was already starting to fall off at the end of last year. Abadage was big, but he was always on a team that kind of hampered him to a certain extent. Like, he never got to international play. So, how much of that is like Yankos and Wonder, for example, who I just think they get outskilled at this point on a consistent basis by other players in the league. Yankos specifically, I think this. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I really think this is it. After watching this split, if they go to Worlds, great. But at this point, I'm not convinced that G2 is going to Worlds at all.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, yeah, I don't either. And it's also like they they're just so bad. And I like the point you made about late teams scaling or all the old guys leaving and how they're falling off. Because I would say an interesting way to put it would be the LCS old guys have called it. And this season of LCS is kind of some newer dudes taking the reins of being the top dogs, you know?
Yeah.
And right now, as sad as it is seeing Double Lift and Bjergsen go, we've got to see some pretty nice play from smaller guys. And C9 did what they always do, and they came out of the gate really hot.
Crumbled
and
in
now,
summer.
Yeah, crumbled in summer. And now we're getting this nice play from from everyone else, like especially 100 Thieves. And I still don't know if I believe in TSM as much as it hurts me to say it.
Okay, well here's a good question that kind of sums up both regions. I think the top 3 in both sides is completely up in the air entirely. Like nobody knows what's going to happen barring 100 Thieves seems to be the only lock across both Western regions to go to Worlds. Beyond that, everything else seems entirely up in the air. Like nobody has full faith in Misfits. Nobody has any faith in any other team in the LEC.
True.
Do you think any combination of teams can beat China in a best of 5? Or even the LCK, like Damwon? Or who's the top team in the LCK now? Because Damwon's fallen off, right?
Yeah. It's definitely, I think it's Genji.
Yeah,
I mean,
Genji
Genji just feels really good.
So Genji and Damwon, like, can any of these teams beat them? Right now, 100 Thieves is the only team that I look at and I see, yeah, they have the individual lane prowess. They have the drafting capabilities to outdraft enemy teams.
Yeah.
Beyond that, the only other team that kind of looks like that is Fnatic right now.
Yeah, Fnatic has really good laners.
Like Adam is proving himself to be phenomenal.
He is. He's paying off. And I mean, my big thing about Fnatic is though, like, I don't know if I know I flame him a lot, but I still don't know if Niski can hold himself against Chinese mids. Like, maybe he can, but I'm just not sure he can.
I mean, if he goes against Doingby, he's going to get smacked because he's the light version of him.
But
But
yeah, if he can stabilize, they can win. I mean, that's just my only question with them, I would say. And I do 100%. I do think it's just 100 Thieves. Because, I mean, TSM, their bottom lane is just so tough. Like, so tough. I mean, I don't think Sword Art is honestly playing as terrible as he was. And I'm starting to think Lost is really just a problem.
yeah.
Like, I almost want to say I think the biggest issue is Lost is just so weird at the game that it's even making Sword Art look worse.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't believe in them. And it could be the other way around, but I think it's Sword Art I think it's Lost. The way he plays is weird. And in EU, yeah, there's definitely nobody else other than Fnatic. So I'm with you. Like, it's probably just 100 Thieves. I would confidently say Fnatic, I would give a maybe.
So if we go based on upcomers ranking, which, you know, power rankings are more or less irrelevant, but personally, I enjoy them. I always have. Like, they're a fun reason for discussion.
Yeah.
Did you see upcomers ranking?
No.
I'll send this to you via DM just so you have it. But to run it down the list for the viewers out there, they have EDG at 1, LNG at 2, FPX at 3. So 3 straight LPL teams at the top 3, which I think I agree makes sense. Even though I don't watch a lot of LPL, I do keep in touch with it. That seems okay. Genji at 4, RA, which I think is a Chinese team. I'm 90.
Yes,
yeah,
they're
RA is
LPL.
is LPL. At 5, Damwon at 6, Misfits at 7, not TSM, 100 Thieves at 8, Rogue at 9, NS at 10.
Yep.
Do you have faith that Misfits, 100 Thieves, and Rogue are within the top 10 teams in the world right now?
Yes, if I'm looking at this list. I mean, yeah. If I mean, after you get behind RA, LPL teams are pretty hit or miss. I mean, 4 teams is a lot. Like, that's pretty deep. And I don't think I maybe you could put their 5th seed up there, but I don't know who their 5th seed is off the top of my head. And RNG isn't really playing great right now. I don't know what's going on. So, I don't think this is a terrible list.
On a good
I mean,
day,
the only one that surprises me is Gen G being that low.
yeah, I think I would have put Gen G at probably 2 right now. Realistically, like their amount of dominance is very similar to what we saw Damwon last year. And I feel like even though the LPL,
Yeah.
the problem is obviously the LPL is the best league, and like winning in the LPL means quite frankly a lot.
Does.
I don't know if I'd be willing to put Gen G down at 4, given only 4 of those teams are going to Worlds, and you only like these international rankings only matter because they're a way to judge power going into Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So the strength of your region within the LPL doesn't matter, given that Gen G might be so far above everybody else.
Yeah, and is Rogue really 9th?
I mean, I would put Rogue safely behind 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
At the moment, though, I would put 100 Thieves over Misfits. I think their flexibility is a lot better than what Misfits is showing right now. Would I put them both at 7 and 8? That's up to the individual to determine, but obviously I'm heavily biased here.
Well, I just don't think Rogue is top 10.
Yeah. You
Like-
got to get that EU fan base on your side, though. You can't piss them off.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see Rogue getting really beat up by the speed at which LCK and LPL teams play.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is very fast. And I don't know if they're ready for that.
Normally I would have even agreed with 100 Thieves not being ready for it, but the way they played their Lee Sin Senna draft and knowing, it was Emily Rand that put this best. They knew they had to make the game messy in order for the Lee Sin ADC pick to work, and that's exactly what they did. They were able to out skirmish on a consistent basis. Now, could they do that against top teams? Obviously not at the moment. But the fact that they were willing to show that and willing to prove that they can do it at least gives me hope that they might be able to adapt to the world's meta quicker than anybody else. And FBI and Huhi are so far above every other bot lane in the LCS right now that I just want to see them play against somebody in the LPL.
Yeah. I just don't.
I think someday crumbles,
Oh,
but
no.
that's a whole separate point.
Yeah, and Closer is not. I don't know how far Closer gets against them.
Oh, I just thought of a great question. I just thought of a great question for you.
Oh gosh.
100 Thieves goes to Worlds, okay? You're only allowed to bring 1 substitute player. Who do you bring?
The jungler,
You bring Kenvi.
Kenvi. Yeah.
You bring Kenvi over Tenacity.
I think Tenacity is a better player, but I think I would rather be able to fill. That's too hard, dude. I just think Closer's so weird to me. I feel like he's coin flip sometimes, and I think someday maybe doesn't completely die, but I just don't trust someday either, bro. It's so weird. I'm telling you, dude. This is the same NA problem as always. We have 2 good teams, and they both can only play one side of the map. It's every time, dude.
To be
Every
fair,
time.
100 Thieves can play 2 lanes very well. And
Yes.
they can play mid and bot. And having a good mid jungle duo, which Closer and Abadage currently have, is absolutely the key to doing well at Worlds. Because you're not going to be playing through bot lane at Worlds. Like, realistically, FBI and Huhi need to be able to smash lane on their own while Closer's giving attention to both top and mid. And they can 100% do that on a good day.
Yeah. No, I think 100 Thieves is our best chance. I just don't know how it goes, and I don't know what their meta read will be. I hope it'll be good. I trust Reaper enough.
That if they didn't have Reaper, I'd be worried.
Oh,
But because it's
yeah.
him, I have a little bit more faith than normal.
I would say, yeah, I think 100 Thieves is fine. I think LEC will do what they always do, and they're gonna come. They're gonna look weak at the beginning, but they're gonna pop off. Don't worry.
Don't forget, they only get 3 teams.
Yeah, but that's fine. They'll do what they always do. I don't think LEC is just bad. Like, I think they'll be fine. And especially if Misfits can keep up what they're doing now, they probably actually are the best Western team. Just because of the fact that they actually have like 3 good lanes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a very big deal. Like, I think Kavi and Vander can hold their weight against Huhi and FBI, and here it definitely gaps someday.
Yeah.
And
Abadog
their
has
mid
probably got
laner
the
is fine.
advantage mid.
Yeah,
for
their mid
now.
laner will be able to hold. That's
Yeah.
really all they need.
So then
And
it
all
comes
they'll
down.
need, yeah, jungle.
Yeah.
Thanks. Which, I mean, it would be a good game. It would just be, I think Misfits would have a slight edge in current form. Slight edge. I mean, I just don't want to be that guy who claims that some NA team is good and then they just troll us.
I have no problem though putting my faith in that, because
True.
when I compare this to last year, and everybody in the LCS was kind of looking meh during the regular season. Like, I don't remember any one team standing out, because Cloud9 was doing well, but there were clear cracks in the armor at the beginning of the split for summer.
Yep.
And then I remember I think it was June. Yeah, it was June, because I was in Atlantic, or not Atlantic City. I was in Ocean City, Maryland. Whenever 100 Thieves played Cloud9. I remember tweeting out a beach pic because I made like a 100 Thieves sand sculpture. And 100 Thieves beat the undefeated Cloud9,
Awesome.
which then started the crumble of Cloud9. And once Cloud9 started crumbling midway through the season, nobody stepped up. And then we got to playoffs, and then playoffs was just this mess where TSM loses in the first round to Golden Guardians. Cloud9 loses in their best of 5. Team Liquid wins, but like Team Liquid's not winning in a convincing meta manner. So it's like, you didn't get the feeling last year, even though I still had Copium all the way through. Looking back on hindsight, I was a dumbass for doing so, but you know what? I will never lose the faith. This year feels different. This year feels like 2019 Team Liquid, which could very easily bomb out at Worlds again. But there's at least that hope that like some people might pick them to get out of their group.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. I mean, I get the feeling of like 100 Thieves. Last year, I remember TL really amping up everyone's copium and convincing everyone that they were really good. And then playoffs came and a crippling TSM beat them. And
Yeah. Double Lift
it made
literally
me-
was limping over the finish line.
yeah,
Like, he was getting hard carried by his team.
This is my greatest fear, once again, and it's gonna sound whack, but I actually read a Twitter thread on this too from Wicked Bull and Peter Dunn. My greatest fear is that TSM would limp through another NA playoffs and somehow win it by just like hard playing through topside. Because we have seen when Spica realizes that someone is dead weight, Spica drags the other lanes. He will drag them. And I think he is highly underrated for that. He does very hard carry bad people.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden TSM gets a first seed and they're not a real first seed and they get really good teams under them and they get stomped again. I mean, did you see that Twitter thread from Peter Dunn basically saying that he thinks you're better off being a 2 seed from NA
Yeah.
or a 3 seed?
Yeah. I 100% agree that I think like
Yeah.
TSM's best chance is to become a 3 seed and go through
Yeah.
play-ins. I really do. Like, I think they would benefit the most internationally from going
Yeah.
through play-ins.
At least 2 seed. Like, if you
Yeah.
want to guarantee you're in a group, but you don't want to be in a group that's impossible to play out of, go 2 seed. Like, because I feel like the problem with when you're a 1 seed is it's very hard to get a PCL team or a really bad like team to stomp in. And you kind of need those other teams that you can play against. Like you want to guarantee that there's one Korean team or Chinese team that's going to smash everyone and then is basically everyone fighting for second.
Yeah.
That is prime area to be in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
And
other thing now is that whoever gets first seed, you're gonna have a pool 2 LCK and LPL team guaranteed in your group.
yeah,
So realistically, it doesn't matter what LPL team is in there. You would just assume that they're going through. Like it would be shocking if the LPL did not send 4 teams through. So then you need to pick off
honestly.
the weaker LCK teams. You need to avoid Gen G. Because Gen G would be Gen G. If you're
Nonsense.
first seed, you're guaranteed not to have Gen G in your group.
Yeah.
So you need to avoid Damwon if possible. But even then, I think Damwon's beatable given their current form, unless they turn it around.
I mean, they need to quit role swapping all the time.
Yeah, but
I want to see Showmaker in mid.
Well, you're gonna get Showmaker ADC, and you're gonna like it. Okay.
Well, it's
You
not
don't
as good.
I know it's not as good. You don't have a choice. Okay.
But I want to see him win it all. Demon King storyline. Pog.
I ironically do not want to see Showmaker win it all. I want to see either LNG or North America win.
No. I will say this from watching LPL. If you get an LPL team that isn't LNG, the top laners in LPL right now are kind of trolling. I don't know how else to explain it, bro. Like, Nuguri is actually like, I don't know what that man's doing up there, but every FPX game I watch, some of them he pops off, a lot of them he's like doing B is dragging this man through.
Yeah.
And he's dragging him well. Don't get me wrong. And their bottom lane performs every time. And Tion is still pretty good at times. Sometimes troll. But maybe it's just how fast LPL plays that some people look troll sometimes. But I feel like, yeah, Nuguri does have a very inty playstyle. And when he dies once, he dies quite a lot. And hopefully, and this is the slightest hopeful of all time, an LCS top laner could have used that. But yeah, I don't know which one will.
I don't know. I mean, Fudge has proven himself internationally to be able to do that. So
yeah, I mean, this is a scary thing to say, but the best top laner right now in LCS might actually be Hootie, and that's never good.
No, not after this past weekend. I'm sorry, but I saw Hootie run it down one too many times to say that he's the best top laner.
There's only one game he ran it down.
There were a solid 2 where even when they've won, it was still rather iffy.
Which one?
Not the middle game, but the Friday game.
That was the game they lost.
No, they
what
lost
was the other game he ran.
Didn't they lose the Saturday game? No,
No,
who did they play on Saturday?
EG. They beat.
No, they lost the Saturday they lost the EG on Saturday.
Oh, and they won Friday.
Yeah, they won.
Golden Guardians, right?
Yeah, I think it was going. Yeah.
I'm looking it up. Don't worry.
So am I.
But
yeah, TSM beat FlyQuest on Friday.
Oh yeah. What did he do in that game? That was a troll.
Oh, never mind. Maybe I'm thinking of the last week because he went 5-1 on Rumble. They for some reason gave him his Rumble pick.
Yeah, he played out of his mind.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Ignore me. I'm thinking of 2 weeks ago. But
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's the greatest ever to do it. I'm just saying, like, as far as top laners going in A right now, nobody else is really doing anything.
yeah. Well,
And that's why I'm scared. That's why I'm scared, mainly. That's not good. That is not good.
So
at all.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about in regards to any of the major regions? Because I got one final wrap-up question for you then.
Nope. Throw it at me.
What is your biggest gaming nostalgia moment?
Ooh.
Like, what is something that you look back on with gaming and just instantly get chills throughout your entire body?
Can it be like an esport?
Can be anything.
Okay. Wild Turtles. Just on a quadra kill
Okay.
against C9.
Very respectable
That
choice.
final game. That was the first split of LCS I never watched. I watched the Odd One stream a lot, and the season he retires, I figured out what League of Legends esports was. So I went, well, I'll just see he played for, and Glebe Glar Blue was the support, and Amazing was the jungler. And they had that game where he picked Volbear and Inted really bad, and then all of a sudden Glebe got benched for some dude called Lustboy. Didn't know who he was. And then all of a sudden I watched that whole dream run in that summer split. It was
And
electric to me.
that's the
And
moment that gives you chills.
Yeah. I could watch that play any day.
Dang.
I watch it all the time. Because that was when, like, C9 at the time had won a lot. And then TSM came in and won. Yep.
I'm trying to think. I'd
say that, or the first time I got gold with my friend Ben.
My problem is I don't look at League of Legends and get nostalgia yet. Like, I'm still in that phase where I not phase, but like I just enjoy the game, and because I'm still consistently playing it, it's hard to look back on and be like, yeah, I remember that time. Like DCCS would be like the only one that like you get somewhat nostalgia with. But even then, it's still too recent. I made a TikTok today talking about nostalgia for Modern Warfare 2. And as nostalgic as I was for that game, I'll never forget the first time that I got out of the map on Crossfire in COD 4. It's a very specific memory, but like back in that day, private matches used to be a very popular thing in both Halo 3 and with Call of Duty, where you go into Forge mode for Halo, or for Call of Duty, you go in and just either 1v1 people, or you could play custom games. And one of the most popular games to play at that time was a game called Michael Myers, where one person would start off with a knife and everybody would run around and try and avoid this person. And if you set it on old school free-for-all mode, you could get out of the map and do other things and see different areas. I remember sending out messages at 3 a.m. in the morning to everybody on my recent players list being like, hey, Michael Myers lobby, you want in? And getting 30-some responses for a lobby of 18. And you would always get people to fill it up and play till like 5 o'clock in the morning. And nobody knew each other. But you just go in and have fun. And you could all hear each other, talk to each other. Like, it was... I missed that camaraderie within esports, or not within esports, within gaming to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I know that goes away as you get older, obviously. Like, that's a given. But, like, I don't know. I think back to that moment and trying to land on the table. Like, there's an invisible... so you had to jump from, like, a roof... Do you remember COD 4 at all? Like, remember any of them?
I never played any of them.
There's a spot where you have to jump from, like, a rooftop to an invisible spot, which was in line with a bench that was, like, 40 yards out in the distance.
That's awesome.
And if you landed on that, that's step one. You then have to jump from that bench to an invisible spot that's outside of the map, and then you were free to roam around in, like, the outside borders of it.
That's really cool.
If you missed, you died and became a Michael Myers as well. Like, you'd have to run around and kill everybody.
Oh.
But just the first time that you did it was just this insane feeling. It didn't mean anything, but it was like, I don't know. I still think about that to this day, and like, I don't know. Part of me wants Halo to come back, and I want Halo Infinite to do so well, but I just know it's not going to.
Mm-hmm. The only other one I can think of would be when I used to play Minecraft with Ben. Do you remember Gator W?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play Minecraft with him, and we figured out an exploit to like stack our potions, and we would use this thing called like it was some dark map you could use that would show you the whole server's map, and we would Dine map is what it was called, and we would have Dine map on our laptop, and then we would play Minecraft on our desktops, and we would go on Dine map, look where people were building their bases at, and then kill them
Jeez.
while they were building them outside of towns because it was towny, like back when towny was super popular, so you couldn't kill people on their towny, but we would find like newer people, and then we'd also go into people's townies set homes, and you could kill them only with potions in townies, so we'd kill them with potions by spawning into their houses.
Dang.
Yeah,
Do you
that was fun.
do you remember? I'm not sure if you ever watched this group. But did you ever watch Achievement Hunter?
Yep. Yes.
Every Friday, a new Minecraft video would come out.
Yep.
And I just remember getting done with both high school classes. I think this is like my senior year that they started blowing up, and then like freshman year as well. And like I remember looking forward to that so much every Friday and seeing what Ray would do on those videos every time because he just made me die laughing. I still remember the Charizard random quote to this day, and it's like, oh, and it's amazing
so
because
sad
like
when he left.
I know his streaming career is doing fine, so like he's obviously good on his own, but like Achievement Hunter was never the same after he left.
Nope.
It just wasn't, and it's like, ugh, that sucks. But I will say it is nice to know that the new generation gets a similar experience with Dream SMP.
True.
Like they at least get something like that. But it I don't know. That I feel like that's me getting too nostalgic at that point.
Yeah, and man, it's just so hard to think back then because I think it also hurts that high school, it's like the same vibe of playing sports when you're a kid with other kids and having a good time and hanging out with the neighborhood friends. That whole vibe, when it goes away and you have to be adults and you play games after you worked all day, is just not the same.
You don't have the same energy that you had in high school to go through class and then I don't know, be done. You had no other responsibilities. Now like just
now
today
you
for
come home
like
and pay the bills.
yeah, I got off at 5:30 and was like I had to let the dogs out. I had to go find something to eat because I wasn't gonna make anything tonight. By the time you get back, it's like it's 7:30 already, and it's like okay, well shit, I got work tomorrow. But like when you were a kid in high school, you never like there was never a second thought. I was like, oh, I got school tomorrow. Oh, who the fuck cares? Like I'll be fine. It's not so challenging and not so like concentration requiring that you can't do it. Granted, had I concentrated, I probably could have went to probably could have achieved more academically, but the hell did I care?
Yeah.
Look where we're at now with that same amount of effort.
Yeah. We're doing this, baby.
You're damn right.
Woo! Woo! Ugh. Talking about a dying league. Yes.
Hey, you know what?
Yes.
We're having fun with it, and that's all that
true. And our teams are at the top. So
that is true. What do we have to complain about? Jeez.
Yeah.
Screw getting
sorry
nostalgic.
You're watching a podcast with two dudes whose teams are the best. Dare I say, the best.
Okay. This is a challenge to Hunter Talk, and I forget the name of the TSM podcast, but the fact that I don't know it off the top of my head explains all you need to know. I would love to see a 2v2 debate with you and me and both of them, like a three-way debate, because they have two 100 Thieves fans, then the TSM one has two TSM fans, and we have the best of both worlds, where we hate each other's team, but at the same time we'll stick up for them. So it's like we're the middleman that can punch to both sides, and it's like you don't hit me, I hit myself. It's like I would love to see like a debate or challenge with them. Like challenge their
I'm-
podcast to something.
Oh, I mean, that would be so. I don't even know what we would do. I mean, what do we make? What do we make fun of them for? I mean, both teams are like at the top right now. I mean, it's obvious which one's better. So
Well, okay, here's what we do. Since you and I have duoed, okay? We
Mhm.
challenge both of them to a 2v2 lane matchup.
are either of them higher ranked than us?
I have no clue what their ranks are at all.
Yeah,
But I feel like regardless of what their ranks are, we could still smash them. So, okay, yeah, no, so that's it. So this is our formal challenge, and I will probably put this on Twitter or TikTok or somewhere else. This is my challenge to the 100 Talk podcast and whatever the hell the TSM podcast is. Let's do a 2v2 ARAM tournament between us two versus you two and the other two. Winner, we'll name a bet. If everybody agrees, we'll name the bet. And the person has to fulfill it either on their next podcast or on social media, whatever. You name it, we'll be there. We'll kick your ass, but we'll be there.
I mean, we'll be there because we're the ones who told them to.
You
go.
goddamn right. Oh, that's getting clipped.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we win it if we're the ones challenging them. Good
Yeah.
gravy.
We
Oh,
get
yeah, that's true. Wait. Huh. Let me remind you of the greatest player of all time.
Oh god.
I have immortalized the 0
Broken Blade. There we go.
run, baby. The 0-6
The
dream
BB
run.
jersey.
Yeah. Even if we lose to these guys 6 times in a row, I'll wear this the whole time through, dude.
We could, you know what we could do? We could force them to wear the other team's jersey during a podcast. Like
That would be
the
funny.
100 Thieves guys have to wear TSM. The TSM guys have to wear 100 Thieves, and neither of them had to wear it because of each other. It's because of us. And then obviously, like I'd have to buy like a TSM jersey. You'd have to buy 100 Thieves and wear that. Wear
we
it that
don't
way.
lose.
I mean,
we
we
don't
don't
lose.
lose, but I'm just saying.
I know we don't lose because I don't know. I just play Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get that out there on social media. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. That'll be out
Gosh,
tomorrow morning. I'll put that challenge out there.
And people should pick what league we talk about next. What
Ooh,
league
that
should
is
we
true.
add?
Force
Can we
us
start
to talk
talking about LPL?
maybe.
Who knows? Maybe. Maybe.
Probably not talking about VCS, but you know what?
Well,
What? I didn't say that.
no, we'll talk about it.
Anything else you want to cover before I close her down for tonight?
Just remember that TSM is still first. That's all I got.
You're only first because alphabetically you appear before a number. That's it. We're the same record. Whatever. My shout out is going to the Green Wall. Shout out to the Optic Gaming crew. Yeah. Love everybody there. Love the COD team. Love the content creators. Hitch is my role model. And yeah, shout out to Optic. Don't you be giving me that face.
Huh.
Don't you be giving me that face.
Insider knowledge.
To everybody in the chat, specifically Mason and Murky, y'all have a good night. Enjoy it, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Adios.